Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation. And for the censors out there, we always tell you that one of our main goals, we will stay within the community guidelines. And the reason that we can say that is because we present real medical evidence. We don't give any opinions. We don't make any statements or claims. We are the source of the information. We provide the source of the information. I want to be clear. We've written 4 best-selling books with some of the top medical doctors in the world, over 1,500 live lectures around the world, and have appeared on PBS 20 different times. We like to think of ourselves as giving credible, free information. There's nothing for sale. We don't sell anything on our website. It's free information that everybody gets to see. The audiences can go in the public domain and see everything we talk about. Okay? Well, hello, wow. A lot of people already this morning. George, let's see, Terry, let's see, Alicia, I believe that is. Hello, David. So what we want to talk about today is really a very important thing. Are you really living your best life? Do you really believe that whatever diet you've been on or you think you're on is going to actually work in the long term? Unfortunately, we're going to blow up all those myths today. We're going to show you, this is the New Health Conversation podcast. It's live, it's not pre-recorded. We pride ourselves in giving you only real medical proof. We're going to show you today 10 new peer-reviewed human trial studies that represent how this young woman and many of the other people we're going to show you are able to lose as much weight in a week as in 2 or 3 months of dieting without losing any lean muscle, losing any water, having energy, and feeling fantastic. I didn't invent this. We're not taking credit for that. Our job is to make you aware. We're called the researchers of the researchers. Been doing this for 23 years. And I don't tell you this to impress you. I'll just give you a brief, quick overview. I've written 4 best-selling books with some of the top medical doctors in the world, did 20 shows on PBS, over 1,500 live lectures in universities and hospitals and towns. I even flew me to China. I had the great honor, and I mean it was an honor, to speak at Autism One 2 years in a row, the largest autism conference in the world. But let's put that aside. Let's focus on you. What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do tomorrow and next week? Are you really convinced that a diet that you're doing is going to actually work long term? Sadly, I'm going to show you the medical proof that shows that 2/3 of you, whatever diet you're on, are going to end up gaining more weight than you lost. What we're going to show you today is the medical proof of how you can lose as much weight safely in 4 days. It would take you a month on any diet. You can lose as much weight in a week as in 2 months. You can lose as much weight in a month as in a year on any diet without the loss of water loss or actually gaining lean muscle mass. Again, how do you want to live your life? How do you want to be? Do you want to accept a less than, well, geez, I'm getting older, I guess I'm just tired. Look, as we speak right now, 80% of America's overweight, 50% are obese, and 50% are pre-diabetic, suffering in quiet solitude in a sense. The thing is that we're being deprived of our birthright, which is to what? Maximize your quality of life potential, whatever that is. Some of you may have some real physical limitations, I understand, but it doesn't mean that you couldn't get the most out of what you have available. Diets are dead. Counting calories, dead. Not because I say so, because these brave, amazing researchers, they spent 40 years of their lives. They did over 100 studies, thousands of people, and they came to one conclusion. All the diets they ever studied, 2/3 of people gained more weight than they lost. So they are the ones that invented this. I want to give them credit. It wasn't us. It wasn't me. I had nothing to do with inventing this. Our job at the New Health Conversation, notice the name, the New Health Conversation. Do you all think we need one? Now, I know a lot of you are going to be on here. You're going to be skeptical, you're going to push back. And the sad part is most of you are going to go back to these, whether it's paleo or keto or Mediterranean or carb recycling or count your macros or whatever diet it might be, because we're been so propagandized. I don't even know if that's a word. I think it is anyway. We're going to present to you today irrefutable medical evidence. But in addition to that, you'll notice above her head there in blue, the New Health Conversation. That is a free medical website for all of you to go to. Why you wouldn't go there, I don't know. Because if you do go there, we're not going to contact you. We believe in the science. We believe the science is what should help you want to know more. Because if you do go there and you like what you see, we won't contact you. there's no reason we would need to contact you. But if you decide that it's valuable and you want to know more, you can get free coaching the whole time. I know it sounds good to be true. We got coached. The New Health Conversation is about a community of people that want to really make a difference first in their own lives, because it has to start with you. You know, when you get on an airplane, what do they say? If there's a sudden depressurization, put your mask on first, because you can't help other people if you can't help yourself. Again, what kind of life do you want to live? Are you living right now? Do you think you're living your best, your optimum life? Are you being compromised because of, you're going to find out things that are out of your control that you probably didn't even realize. Why is this obesity crisis so horrible? Something's terribly wrong. Part of what's wrong is the fact that the solution we're using is against a problem that they don't even know. One of the biggest challenges we're all facing, believe it or not, is this new medical syndrome called TDOS. T for toxicity, D for deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a medical syndrome it's registered. I mean, it's got a registered trademark use patent office. You'll notice the name Peter Greenlaw. Yeah, that's me. That doesn't matter. Forget it. The science doesn't care about me. The proof is that this syndrome, you, your children, every person in the world has. We're drinking and breathing chemicals. So our modern life, which is wonderful, it has consequences. The consequences are that just 5 weeks ago, they now found we're storing microplastics in our brain and in our coronary arteries. Go look it up. You don't have to believe me. Google it. You'll see. But not only that, it wasn't until 2005 that we even figured out that we're storing chemicals inside of our body, specifically in our visceral fat. If you look at her stomach on day one, you'll see the protrusion there. That's the bloating. It's being caused because the body, to protect us, is taking that chemical and stuffing it inside your fat cells. These researchers did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved that this protocol was assisting the body in removing chemicals. Notice day 30, look at her stomach. That is not Photoshopped. And by the way, she and all the people I'm going to show you they didn't exercise. They weren't allowed to exercise. They wore Fitbits. Now, why did the researchers do that? Because they wanted to eliminate exercise as a side effect. Otherwise, you would have said, well, she lost weight because it was diet and exercise. So she really lost 21.2 pounds, 38.75. Because what happened is the researchers unleashed the power of our own body to regulate our weight and our health. That's really kind of what happened. I'm going to explain to you what they did in a moment. I promise. But again, let me ask you the question again. Are you living your best life? Are you living a less than lifestyle? Have you accepted a less than lifestyle? Because it doesn't mean you're not doing things. It doesn't mean you're not going to the gym. It doesn't mean you're not trying to lose weight. But you're fighting a losing battle because you don't have the right approach. All the I'm going to show you today from Harvard Medical School, New England Journal of Medicine, even Medicare saying diets don't work. Counting calories it's over. It doesn't work. It's never worked. Now, maybe you think I'm being overly dramatic, but wait a minute. When you're talking about your health, when you're talking about your future, when you're talking about being the best person, the best parent, the best grandparent, whatever it might be, you're accepting less than because you don't know what else to do, because you're following nice people, these influencers. I see them on social media, but why don't any of them have any medical proof behind what they're saying? Because the claims they're making are what's called unsubstantiated. They can't be proven medically. Now, I don't know whether you believe in science or not, but I will tell you this, that these researchers, they've been published now in 10 of the biggest medical journals in the world. It's called what's called a peer-reviewed human trial study on this new, it's not even a weight loss. They actually call it a quality of life system. And it's based on nutrition, weight loss or weight gain, and health. The outcome of this is health. So let's get into, first, let me show you 3 more quick before and afters, and then I promise I'll spend whatever time, answer whatever questions, showing you what did they do. It's not a diet. This isn't some recipe. This is way, way advanced. It took 40 years of research to figure out how you could lose 5 pounds a week. This is the low end of what people are losing. Let me show you the next person, Julie. This is 37 days, 35 pounds in 37 days. But look at her body transformation. Look at how much she shrank. She shrank because her body is now capable of getting these chemicals out of her. And the bloating and all that goes down. See, when people tell you that you burn fat through a diet or through exercise, it's not true. You're born with a certain number of fat cells, you die with a certain number of fat cells, and over your lifetime, those fat cells either expand or they contract. So don't let, if somebody tells you, oh, you're going to burn fat on this, run from it. It's not true. It's just, I'm being kind. It's completely untrue. What we're doing, we want to bring you the opportunity to see the real proof. Then you make a decision. As a matter of fact, if you go to the website, which you see right above our head there in blue, the New Health Conversation, we're not going to contact you. Why would we need to do that? It's not our research. We're not the experts. We're the researchers of the researchers. But once you see what's on that website, if you decide you want to know more, you get a chance, free coaching. Not just the consultation. It's not some trick. We'll coach you all the way through, because the key to this is maintenance. That picture is about 8 or 9 years old. She's been able to keep the weight off for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. What would that mean to you? What would it mean to you if you could lose even 5 pounds a week? Because you're used to diets, right? Where you lose a pound a week and you're all excited. But you're also losing weight in the most unhealthy way. And we're going to show you that in a moment. Now, the next before and after I want to show you is the daughter of a friend of mine. Now, you can think we photo hacked it. It's a different woman. Wait till you see this. She lost 60 pounds in 3 months. 60. Look at her face. Look at her arms. Look at her body. Now, all of you are probably saying that's fake, it's not made up. No, it's not. It's real. The thing that makes this different, and the reason that you really cannot, you can have whatever opinion you want, but it's an opinion. But when you're talking about peer-reviewed human trials, which are in the public domain, you can actually go see them. Although we provide a link on the website, you can go directly to the research, the peer-reviewed human trial studies. But look at that, everybody. Is it the same woman? Did we Photoshop it? Did we lie to you? Is it AI? What is it? I'd love a comment. What do you think about that, all of you? J2 Hart, or Annette, or It's Just Me, or Rome Nugent, or User 466, or Sonia, or Positive Energy, or Nessie. I understand you're all skeptical. I understand you probably want to tune out immediately. You don't think this is real. It is completely real. Now, the last picture I'm going to show you, you hear all the time, when you get older, it's really hard to lose weight. Wait till you see this, everyone. This is an older gentleman. How about 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days? And that's the least important part of his story. Look at his lab work. It's right there. The A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242 to 124 in 30 days. You probably think we made that up. You probably think it's fake. It's not real. No, it's real. That's 30 days. By the way, none of the before and afters I've showed you were allowed to exercise. Nobody exercised because the researchers didn't want exercise to be an outlier. It's not that you can't exercise. Of course you can. I'll show you some pictures later of people who exercise, athletes. The results are astounding. Like you think it's science fiction. You think, oh, you're looking at a movie. This isn't real. But let me ask you another question. Just because it was never invented, the solution for obesity, weight loss, and to maximize your health, doesn't mean it wasn't possible. Look at how are we doing this right now? How are you seeing me? There's no wires plugged. How does this work? We don't even question it now. I mean, something as simple as email. You realize how crazy that would have been, say, 35 years ago or 40 years ago? What do you mean I could type something on my computer and it ends up in China in 2 seconds or a nanosecond? So this took 40 years, everyone. 40 years. The brightest minds in weight loss, nutrition, and physiology. In case you don't know, physiology is the study of the nutrients once they enter your body. Very different than just being, not that there's anything wrong with a nutritionist or dietitian or any of these health professionals. Health professionals that wouldn't even take a look at this for 22 years. I know. I did 1,500 live lectures in universities and hospitals. Lots of doctors. You know what they would tell me? Oh my God, it's unhealthy to lose that much weight on a diet. They kept thinking it was a diet. But we didn't have any medical proof until these studies started to come out. Some of them were started in 2012. They take tremendous amounts of time, a lot of money, and patience. because you don't just do your study and then the journal publishes it. No, no, no. You have to go through hoops even to be considered. There are rules. By the way, did you know to submit studies, you have to be certified by the government? True. Once that happens, then you submit your work to one of the journals, and then they decide through their committees if it's worthy of publication. They don't review it. They send it out to other world-class experts. That's what peer-reviewed human trial study means. That's why this is such a big deal for all of you, for the future, for your future. You could have a different life. Don't you want to maximize your quality of life potential? All right, so that's enough about all of that. I know you're all impatient. Get to the point. I see it all the time. So let's talk about, I already explained to you, this was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world who conducted 100 studies on diets over 40 years, thousands of people, and they concluded diets are miserable failure. Oh, every person, every diet they ever analyzed, people lost weight initially. Notice the word initially. But when they analyzed the weight people actually lost, 25 to 40% of all the pounds you're losing on all these diets was lean muscle mass. The problem with that is when you begin to lose lean muscle mass, your brain, it slows down your metabolism. That's why you plateau in these diets. That's why you yo-yo and gain everything back. But worse, did you know when you lose lean muscle, what else you're compromising in your body? Your immune system. You're making your immune system. So the very weight you've lost to fit in your skinny jeans is making you unhealthy. That's not an opinion on my part. That's the medical research. Why isn't anybody telling you this? I don't know. I am. We are. This is what we do. The new health conversation. Hopefully you're understanding this is the new health conversation, what we're going to share with you next. So the researchers said the problem with diets was really pretty simple. First of all, let me ask another question. Does anyone know the real medical definition of a calorie? What's a calorie? Why are you counting calories when you don't even know what it is? I didn't know what a calorie was 24 years ago, so don't feel bad. But seriously, you're all counting calories. Do you even know what a calorie is? So why would you be counting something? You have no idea what it even is. So someone told you to count calories and they didn't even tell you what a calorie was? A calorie is not a real thing. Your human body can't count calories, doesn't give a damn about a calorie. So when you're going on a diet by lowering calories, your body's going, what do you do? What's a calorie? Aha. The only thing your body cares about are three things: air, water, and the minimum amount of this, nutrition. When you go on a diet, what are you doing? I don't care what the diet is. You're reducing the quantity of food you're consuming, or you're reducing one of the nutrients, like let's say a keto diet where you're eliminating carbohydrates. Well, we need carbohydrates. They have to be the right kind of carbohydrates. So what the researchers did, they said the reason diets fail is people relying on counting calories and completely ignoring the only thing that matters to your body is nutrition. So when you go on a diet and reduce the quantity of food you're consuming, what else you're reducing? Nutrition. When the brain figures out this is how it works. When your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition, it goes in starvation mode and converts your muscles into fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you plateau. That's why you gain all the weight back. But also, like I said before, it also compromises your own immune system. What are you all doing? Why? So the research said we need to go, the researchers, we're going to find foods with higher levels of nutrition. That's the number one criteria. And they did it. They put a grocery list together that she got, but only 30% of the food she consumed came from the grocery store: proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. And those represented large amounts of nutrition, not calories. They don't want you to count calories. They gave you serving sizes. That was very important, but only 30% of what you consume. What about the other 70%? Here's what made it work. These researchers who have no company, they don't sell anything, they have no products or scientists. We don't sell you anything. But the other 70% of the food she gets, or you would buy directly from researchers or suppliers who'd gone around the world for 20 years to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now we have the ingredients that you're going to take. Now look what they did. They got a patent on a new way of eating. It's patented, U.S. patent. Would you believe you could find a new way of eating? They did it. So 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. That's not what they got patented on. They started with these the exotic foods for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and after dinner, a fourth meal, these exotic foods from around the world. The patent came from this next sentence. That's called protein pacing. And what they proved and why they got the patent, what mattered was the time, was how much food at what time intervals over about 8 or 10 hours. Because they did other methods. They took like all the nutrition and had them have lunch and dinner. That didn't work. What worked, the triggering mechanism for the body, was to make it as efficient as possible to spread that nutrition out over about 8 or 10 hours. That's why something like this time-restricted eating is one of the most destructive things you could ever do. Because when you wake up in the morning, having not eaten, you're basically, that's why when people get up in the morning and have a cup of coffee, it's the worst thing you could ever do. Because you're out of fuel, you don't understand. So your brain will react and start to turn your muscles into fuel. We know it. We've got medical proof to prove to you that 16-8, you don't eat for 16 hours, you eat for 8. Journal of the American Medical Association, 3-month study. Right here, I'm going to quote from it. They said, people that did the fasted 16 hours, eat for 8 over a 3-month period of time gained almost no benefit from it. And over the course of that 3 months, they lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds. And most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. I don't fault the people that are telling you that, but they don't have it. The science says never do that. Never do that time-restricted eating. It's not an opinion on my part. I'm just sharing the medical proof. And there's other studies proving the same thing. So the researchers said, we need to do something different. And they invented this protein pacing. It's patented. Can you show me any other eating? Does keto or paleo have a patent? No. So that was 5 days a week, 4 meals. And what about the other 2 days? Aha. This was the other part that was so significant. Again, using the concept of the pacing of when you ate. On those days, no food from the grocery store at all. She did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, but not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted. In those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time she ate them 8 times a day. And again, the pacing when she was eating about approximately every hour and a half. And look at the results, everybody. 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise. That's 5 pounds a week. And they measured. She lost no water weight, and instead of losing any lean muscle, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle despite no exercise at all. Let me clarify. Of course you can exercise. Of course the researchers weren't against exercise. But for purposes of these studies, they eliminated exercise as an outcome. Well, let me ask you all this, if you're honest. If you were going to lose 20 pounds, how long would you normally give yourself? Do you understand that diets are finished? Do you understand that 2/3 of you right now, whatever diet you're on, no one's arguing you're going to lose weight. But the medical studies show that 2/3 of you will end up weighing more than what you did when you started. That picture you're looking at there is 8 or 9 years old. She's kept the weight off for 8 or 9 years. In some of the studies that were started back in 2012, 13 years ago, they've tracked the people that kept the weight off. That's why, guess what it's called? R2M. What does it stand for? Race to maintenance. But the other huge component of this is the fact I was explaining to you before, that one of the reasons you're having such a trouble with energy and weight is because of this medical syndrome that we all have. TDOS, T for toxins, D for deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office. Oh, Peter Greenlaw. Oh, that is me. I did discover it. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office of a new medical condition. And what it means is that whether you know it or not, you're breathing, drinking, eating chemicals. And as they come in your body, once the liver can't deal with them anymore, the body has to take the chemical and it stuffs it in your fat cells, specifically what's called your visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs. Look at her stomach on day 1. Look at her stomach on day 30. The researchers did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, proving that this was assisting the body in removing the chemicals. That's why she shrank. When you look at Julie in 35 pounds in 37 days, look at the change in her body. Where's the loose skin? It looks like a different person. I know you think it's fake. It's not. It's real. But I think also my friend's daughter, April, 60 pounds in 3 months. I'd love for any of you to comment. Do you think it's a different woman? Did we get a different model and put her in the same dress? No, it's the same person. It's just that's the massive change that's available to all of you that are struggling with your weight. I'm not saying you have to lose you need to lose 60 pounds. Maybe it's 10 pounds. Maybe it's 5 pounds. But also the other thing you have to understand, if you're fit and in shape, you don't get a pass. They did a study on 300 really fit people. They did MRIs on them, and they found around the brain, the kidney, the breast tissue, prostate in men, this white halo of this toxic fat. Because again, even though you're thin, the way you look on the outside has nothing to do with the way you look on the inside. So don't think because you're in shape, you're not toxic. That's a bunch of nonsense. And then people give me this nonsense. Well, I was tested. I don't have any toxins in my blood. That's your problem. You should be having toxins. It's called reconstituted. If they're in the bloodstream, it means the body can get rid of it. If you're storing it inside your fat cells, they're not going anywhere. So there's all this misinformation. Our job at the New Health Conversation is to make you aware. Our job is not to convince you. We're providing you a free medical website right above our head, the New Health Conversation. What's there? One of the things that's there is an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world who invented this. 100 studies, thousands of people over 40 years. Do you think maybe you'd want to listen to him instead of somebody on influencer on social media that's giving you what? Opinions. You're entrusting your health to someone giving you an opinion when you can, there's 10 medical journals proving that this is for real. All I can tell you is that when you see someone like an older gentleman like this, 40 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days, does anybody think that's fake? You think we made it up? You think it's photoshopped? It's AI? It's what they call photo hacked? I don't even know how to do that. No, this is real. But the big part, look at his lab work, everyone. His A1C from 8.4 to 6.4, his triglycerides 242 to 124. Now, the whole key to this, believe it or not, is maintenance. It's not a question, can we get the weight off you? Obviously, you can see that. It's teaching you what's maintenance look like. It's simple. One of these exotic meals for breakfast every day, 2 normal meals, and then maybe every couple months do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast to assist your body in mobilizing, that's the word, mobilizing the toxins so they can pass out through urine and stool. Or do nothing, or pretend like right now. Are you living your best life? Are you going on a diet? Well, maybe it's summertime, or you've got a wedding you're going to be going to, or an anniversary, or you're going on a special trip, or whatever it is. But do you really think, I'm not saying you're not going to lose weight, but do you really believe you're going to keep it off? And do you understand that by losing the weight the way you're doing it on a diet, by counting calories, you're making yourself unhealthy for 2 main reasons. One, the weight you're losing, up to 40%, if it's 20 pounds, 40% would be 8 pounds, is lean muscle mass. And by definition, when you reduce lean muscle, the body slows down your metabolism and it slows down your own immune system. You're literally making yourself unhealthy by going on these crazy diets, by counting calories and reducing lean muscle mass. I mean, people get mad at me. Listen, we're the ones, you're champions. We're rooting for all of you. My own mother was morbidly obese, and I didn't have a chance to do what you're doing. My mom called me up 24 years ago and said, Peter, I have one really big wish in my life. This is before I became a researcher. I said, what's that, Mom? She said, I would give anything if I could spend 1 day thin. I said, wow, Mom, that's great. Well, 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. My mom was only 63 years old when she died. I believe my mom dieted herself to death. That's why I have such an aversion to diets, and why I became one of the reasons I became a researcher. We're bringing real truths to you. This is not hyperbole. It's not an infomercial. It's the medical science. Now, maybe you don't like that. Maybe you're going to run from it. Maybe you're going to go back to keto, paleo, Mediterranean. I'd love for anybody to put in the chat for me. Tell me a diet you think works. Hello, Kev. Hello, Truth and Nothing. Black Pigment. How about Daniel? How about Leslie? How about User 266? How about John Rod? Courageous. Diana. And can we get some more taps? We're at 999 likes. I know we can get to 1,000. What, seriously, put in the chat, what more can we do for you? Above our head in blue, you can see it, the New Health Conversation. As a matter of fact, all you do, if you want to, you go to Google, type in, or whatever search engine, the New Health Conversation. The first thing that'll come up is the New Health Conversation, right there, okay? But here's the website. There's nothing to buy on that website, and there's no way for us to contact you. The only way we'll contact you is if you scroll down and get a free coaching. And they'll answer all your questions for free, and they'll coach you the whole time, not just initially, all the way through, and then teach you how to be on maintenance. I mean, how many of you just, and this is the reason I like this picture, because this is kind of the least amount that we're used to. Imagine averaging like 5 pounds a week. 5 pounds a week. You're all excited about half a pound to a pound a week. You think you've made great progress. Sadly, the weight you're losing on any diet by counting calories is your lean muscle mass. That's going to slow down your metabolism. You're going to gain all the weight back. You all know, you've heard about the yo-yo. Please, I'd love for someone to comment. Let's have an open conversation here. We got lots smooth. Who we got? It's me, Angel, lots of, oh, we hit 1,000. Come on, everybody, tap on that screen. Don't be bashful. I'm a really nice person. This is live. You can ask me any question you want, but aren't you intrigued? Aren't you curious about this? And it's backed not by an opinion by me, by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. Why aren't you all flocking to that website? The reason I say that, I know how many people are on these podcasts. I do 4 of them a day, let's say. And the number of people that actually take advantage of the free coaching. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you the best thing. So 30% of what you would consume, he had a grocery list, go to the store, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, fruits, and you get serving sizes. That's only 30% of what you're going to spend. So take last month's budget, take 30%, you're going to buy it from the grocery store. The other 70% coming from these researchers who've gone around the world for 20 years to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition. Those researchers, the first 30 days, they'll give you all your money back if it doesn't work. Did you hear me? If you go and sign up for coaching, you'll see it says 100% money back guarantee on the 70%, because obviously the food you're going to buy from the grocery store, you'd have to negotiate with them if they'll give you your money back. Of course, they probably won't. But what's your risk here, everyone? Tell me what your risk is. You're going to prove us wrong, it didn't work? The chances of it not working are like less than 1%. I would say the number of people that ever ask for their money back is probably 0.25%, maybe. And nothing's 100%. There are some times where I think a lot of times people, they didn't like it, they didn't do it, they couldn't do it. It's not difficult. You're eating. This is based on food, but it's based on huge amounts of nutrition. No one gets hungry on this. Let me prove it to you. In the first 30 days, the researchers found that people's hunger went down 41% in 30 days. I mean, Curtis, who's a diabetic here, look at this. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. What I forgot to tell you is with diabetes in particular, it's the body's need for insulin. That's what they can kind of measure. It went down by 41% in 30 days. He had to cut, well, his doctor, he was mentored by his medical doctor, he had to cut his meds by 50% in 30 days. If you're a diabetic out there, how valuable would that be? And we're not against allopathic medicine. We're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any medical conditions. Of course not. This works in conjunction with, I'm sure his doctor would tell him, the fact you lost weight had a huge impact on your numbers. Who cares? Look at the results. There's triglycerides from 242 to 124 in 30 days. Have any of you ever experienced anything like that? I'd love for someone to put it in the chat. You're all silent. You're all silent this morning. I'm a very nice person. I'm a crazy, mad researcher. And I will never give you an opinion. I don't want you to believe me. I'm being serious about that. But you have the opportunity to go to and see, again, in blue, right there. See it right above her head in blue, the new health conversation. And see the medical proof or not, or just ignore this and go on with what you're doing, and you're going to find you're going to lose weight and you're going to gain it all back. What good is it to have you be in really good shape in August, only to have by the time of Thanksgiving, you're already miserable and you're talking about the new diet, your New Year's resolution? We all know that's what happens, but it doesn't have to be like that. I've said over and over again, are you living your best life? Are you living a less than lifestyle? Are you kidding yourself? I will support you. The reason you're probably giving up on diets is because you've tried them. So is this another diet? It's not a diet. It has nothing to do with dieting. So I'd love for anybody. Okay, so who else? Jason, Nana, Big Boy, Willie, User 743, Mel Mars. Hello, everybody. Oh, we're at 1,400 likes. Can we get some more likes up there? Let's get some more likes. But who wants to ask me a question? Let me ask you all questions. Number one, does anybody know the definition of a calorie? The true definition, a medical definition. You're all counting calories. Why? You don't even know what a calorie is. I know, because In a year's time, I've had 8 people out of, and I do 3 or 4 podcasts a day, that have ever gotten the answer correct. The need for the solution is ginormous. As a matter of fact, right here, listen to this, everyone. This is Johns Hopkins Medical School projection. The title of their study is this: Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. In 4.5 years, 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese. We estimate by 2048, 23 years from now, all American adults will become overweight or obese. Does that sound like what you're doing is going to work? And here you have the first ever medical proof in 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. This is the breakthrough that everybody's been looking for, and yet you're going to sit on your hands, because all you have to do is go to Google, type in the new health conversation, and see the medical proof. It is right there. You can see it, the new health conversation. There it is on Cook on that. It comes up. There's nothing to buy on that site. The only thing on there, including module number 1, is a podcast with the #1 nutrition weight loss physiologist in the world. He will tell you that now their research, they will never put a patient on a traditional diet ever again. He explains why. He said it would literally be unethical because of the fact that they now know that all the diets they ever put people on, that 25 to 40% of what people lost was lean muscle mass, and 2/3 of the people gained more weight than they lost. This protocol that they invented, it was not invented by me. And they got a patent on a new way of eating. They combine these they combine foods based only on one principle, nutrition, not based on calorie counting. No calorie counting. They won't even give you calorie counts. They give you serving sizes. How many of you, what would you give, any of you, if you could lose 20 pounds in a month? Let's say you could lose 5 pounds a week. I'd love for anybody to comment. Would that excite you? Would you be curious? Are you curious now? Are you curious enough to take your time to go to the website and see the medical proof? My goodness, if you're not, then I guess you don't really care about your health. Maybe that's an unkind thing for me to say, but it's always based on results, often harsh, but always fair. If you're not even open to the possibility to go see the first ever medical proof of the solution for obesity and your health, I don't know what to say. Aren't you that important to yourself? Aren't you curious? It's easy to follow these influencers and nice people. Oh, we're going to send you some recipes. You're going to lose 20 pounds and most of it's fat. Total lie. You don't lose fat. Do you understand, everyone? You're born with a certain number of fat cells. You die with a certain number of fat cells. So no diet or exercise do you burn fat. That's just not true. So when you hear things like that, do you ever question it? Do you ever question these influences that are telling you? And why aren't they showing you any medical proof? I'm asking all of you. Somebody answer for me, please. Rada and Bald Saigon and Lem and Jim and Kleemer and Polteller and Gina Woods and Big 175 and Sarah. So many of you, you're overwhelming. If I don't say hello, it's not because I'm being rude. It's just because I'm concentrating so much on what I want to do. Now let me show some of you the medical proof as to why whatever diet you're on now is doomed to failure. Okay? Not my opinion. Nothing at the New Health Conversation that we do is an opinion. Everything we do is based on medical facts, okay? Now, some of you I know are coming on late: Sarah, Sabrina, Lydia, Queen. Maybe what I should do, are enough of you on now that didn't hear how in the world did she lose 21 pounds and 38 inches in a month? Give me a yes if you'd like me to go over it again before I show you the medical proof about why diets don't work. I'll give you a preview. This is from Harvard Medical School, okay? Not my opinion, Harvard Medical School. Stop counting calories. They said, most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories, 3,500, you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. That's Harvard Medical School telling you that counting calories is over. They went on to say, the idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in our food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did. That's what this woman did. This was all the people that I've showed you that have had these life-changing, it's not just about the amount of weight they've lost, but the improvement in energy and stress and lowering inflammation and sleeping better at night and menopause and all kinds of things. Heck, we have people with no thyroids that are losing weight. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have kids as young as 2. We have a lady 91 years old. We have people with no gallbladders. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any medical conditions. But who would like to know how they're doing this? Are you not curious? There's lots of you coming on here. Are you not curious about how she did that? It's not a diet. I mean, I'd love any of you to tell me, when was the last time have you ever lost 20 pounds? And if so, how long did it take you? Come on, let's get some more taps. We're at 1,400. We kind of stalled out. Come on, let's get some more taps. Or how about this one, everybody? How about my friend's daughter? How about 60 pounds in 3 months? No one was allowed to exercise because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier, meaning if they would have exercised, you would have said, well, she lost weight because it was diet and exercise. It's the same woman. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach. That is not Photoshopped. So none of you are curious about how they're doing this? Really? You're that dug in on diets that are absolute miserable failures because of the fact we now are looking at within 4.5 years, 86% of you are going to be overweight or obese? I don't, Marianne, of course, meaning you want to know, right? Marianne, thank you for being brave enough to come on. Okay, I'm going to explain to you now what this is and why this is possible. It was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world who'd done 100 studies on about every diet you could name over 40 years. And they came to the conclusion that all diets, people lost weight initially. Okay, but 25 to 40% of the weight you lost on any diet is your lean muscle mass, which slows down your metabolism and your immune system. That's why you gain all the weight back when you stop dieting. So the researchers said, based on that, there's one principle in the body. Why are we alive? We need 3 minimum things. Air, obviously breathing, water, and number 3, and we need a minimum of this. It's not calories, it's nutrition. When you go on a diet, that's what the researchers figured out. You lower the amount of food, you're lowering the amount of nutrition, it triggers in your brain starvation mode, and in starvation mode, your brain converts your muscles into fuel, slowing down your metabolism and your immune system. So the research said, wait a minute, we're going to put together a new protocol. We're going to find foods, we're going to find them that have high levels of nutrition. They call it nutritional density. So they put together a grocery list, but only 30% of what you consume would be organic from your grocery store. You get a list of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, fruits that were based not on calorie counting, but on nutrition. Got it? On how much nutrition was in those foods. The other 70% actually came from other researchers who'd gone around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with large amounts of nutrition, but smaller amounts of quantities of food. So now they had the ingredients. Now the next part's going to blow your mind. The next part, they figured a new way of eating or consuming food. They got a patent from the US Patent Office on a way of eating. What? How's that even possible? That's how unique this is, and yet you'll think it's simple. So 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day, starting with the foods from the grocery store. Starting with these exotic foods from around the world. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. That's called protein pacing. That's the trademark, and not the trademark, that's the patent. Because what they discovered was it mattered the timing between your meals. That was one of the secrets. It wasn't just that you were getting all this nutrition, because they tried it. They took the nutrition and divided it like lunch and dinner. That didn't work. It was spacing it out, the pace. Again, they got a patent on this, on a new way of eating. You think keto or paleo or Mediterranean have patents on how you're eating? Of course not. Then 2 days a week out of 7, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half. We have people who weigh 400 pounds doing this. They don't get hungry because they were never hungry for calories. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. Why you're counting calories is lunacy. Your body doesn't know what a calorie even is, but it knows what nutrition is. And again, the pacing, the 8 feedings a day about every hour and a half mattered. Diabetics had no insulin spikes. In a month's time, people's hunger in a month went down 41%. Insulin, the need for insulin in the diabetics who were on this went down 41% in a month. Most of the diabetics, with their doctor's help, had to cut their meds by 50% in 30 days. It's not a weight loss protocol. It's a health protocol. The weight loss is secondary. And the other critical two compartments of this, number one is maintenance. That picture you're looking at there, she lost the weight 8 or 9 years ago. She's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. But the other huge reason to do this is because every one of you, whether you know it or not, have this new medical syndrome called TDOS. T for toxins, D for deficiency of nutrition, O for being overweight, S is for stress. Oh, Peter Greenlaw. Oh, that actually is me. I did discover, but that's not what matters. What we now know that we didn't know is that we're drinking, breathing, eating chemicals. As they come in our body, once the liver can't deal with them, because there's so many chemicals in our world now, the body takes those chemicals called toxins or toxicants, takes that chemical and stuffs it in your visceral fat. That's why you have all that bloating. Everybody complains to us. It's not just how much weight I have, it's how much fat I have on my body. Well, you didn't increase the number of fat cells, but the chemical in the fat cell expanded the fat cell. Look at her stomach on day 1, everybody. And then look at her stomach on day 30. That's without any exercise, no sit-ups, etc. These researchers did blood, stool, urine, fat, and muscle analysis and proved that this was what's called mobilizing the toxins so they could pass out to the stool and through urine. See, I've had people come on and say, well, I don't have any toxins in my body. That's a bad thing. Because you don't want the toxins to be accumulating inside your fat cells. You want them mobilized so they're out and then they can pass out through, natural process through urine and through stool. This is a brave new world in the sense you have a chance to completely change the rest of your life. You get to hit the reset and the do-over button on your future. Are you living your best life right now? Are you just kidding yourselves? Because the evidence is 2/3 you're going to gain more weight than you lost on any of these diets. Why would you continue after today? And you can go right above her head there in blue. You can see it, the new health conversation. It's free website with the medical proof for you to see. And then you get free coaching the whole time, free. We got coached. You'll get coached. We have medical doctors and nurses, and they all get coached. They've never done this before. Because it's not just what you're going to be consuming, it's when you're consuming it. What are the amounts? What's the sequence? As a matter of fact, the researchers had developed, this is what they gave the patients. It's called the Blueprint for Success. You get it free from the coaches, and they use it to coach you because all the yellows are daily videos showing you exactly why you're doing what you're doing, etc. And the researchers who created this, they don't have a company. They don't sell anything. But they want their research. After 40 years, they're now credited. There was just a huge, big conference in Florida. I talked to the head, the number one person yesterday. And he said, we're being told this was the top obesity experts and weight loss and nutrition people in the world in this conference in Florida. It ended. And they said, what you guys have discovered, you're going to change the world. You're going to make every diet out there obsolete. But in addition, everybody, this protocol, those two women, I have it right here. This is the number one women's magazine in the world, Women's World. This is the cover story. I coach both these women. I know them, obviously. The daughter is 57. She's a nurse. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, who's 80 years old, lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they both kept it off now. It'll be 3 years in August. You think you get on the cover of this magazine if it's some kind of a hoax or a joke? Why are you believing people that are giving you no medical evidence? They're giving you opinions, and they're nice people, and maybe they're a doctor, maybe they're a chiropractor, maybe they're a dietitian, maybe they're a nutritionist. But why aren't they showing you one shred of medical evidence? A, they don't have it, and B, the claims they're making that you're listening to are unsubstantiated, meaning there's no medical proof behind it. It's just an opinion. The weight loss secret, is actually not a diet. It's about detox. I'll show you one other picture to show you how dramatic this is. This gentleman here weighed about 350 pounds, okay? This is exactly 50 days. So let's say it's 7 weeks and 1 day. Wait till you see this, everybody. He lost, you ready for that? 70, oh yeah, you can all see that. 75.6 pounds, 64 inches in 50 days. Blood pressure went from 149/81 to 103/64. Now, he still has a stomach, but look at how much his stomach went down. That is 50 days, everybody. Now, obviously, you don't weigh 350 pounds. Maybe some of you do. I don't know. But if you do the math, he lost, about 10 pounds a week, a little bit over 10 pounds a week. Now, you can think here's the thing. We don't have to make anything up because we have the only ones with peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. Why? Do you not believe this? Because, again, you can go and see right there at the New Health Conversation. If you go to Google, type in, you'll see it there, the New Health Conversation. Type it right into Google or whatever search engine you use. There it is. Click on it. Up comes the website. There's nothing to buy on the website. Nothing. Only thing there is the medical proof, including #1 exclusive podcast with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. And he'll explain to you why they will never recommend any traditional diet ever again. After 40 years of research, 100 studies, thousands of people, they proved that diets don't work. That's what they proved. And they invented this, figuring out what didn't work. So again, we're at 2,000 likes. Let's get some more. Yes, Yvonne, I'm curious, of course. So true. So Yvonne and Marion and anybody else that was on here, do you understand? Because I'm happy to break it down again, but do you understand now why diets are miserable failures and why this is the real thing? It's the real thing. I'd love to know, Marion or from Yvonne, if you were going to lose 20 pounds, how long would you give yourself? Say you're not on this podcast. Say you don't know anything about this. The other thing that I would say is any of you that are watching this right now, why wouldn't you go right there to that free medical website? We won't contact you if you go there. We don't have time to do it, and we don't think it's fair to all of you. That website's for you to learn, educate yourself, see why this is going to change the world, why this is going to make this R2M, it's called race to maintenance, why this is going to make every diet obsolete. I mean, honest to God, why would you go on a diet to maybe lose a pound a week and be miserable and you're starving to death when you can lose? This is the least, we typically see the least is 5 pounds a week. I mean, my God, Curtis, an older guy, look at this, everyone. He lost 10 pounds a week and 52 inches, but his blood work is crazy good. Look at A1C 8.4 to 6.4 and triglycerides 242 to 124, almost cut it in half in 30 days with no exercise. His doctors had to modify his medications. He's a diabetic, cut it by 50% in 30 days. His hunger. No, look at his stomach. That's an older guy. That's not supposed to happen, right? So again, I'd love for anybody to ask me any other questions. Miss Sunshine, can you see it there, Miss Sunshine, right above her head in blue? Give me a yes if you can, Miss Sunshine. The New Health Conversation. Can you all see it there in blue above her head? Sometimes people say they have trouble reading it. So I just want to make sure. So Ms. Sunshine, please put a yes, or any of you, or Marion, or anybody understanding Yvonne, that you can go to that website. It's free to go there and we won't contact you. My goodness, for why wouldn't you go there, everybody? Why wouldn't you go and see the medical proof? Yes, I see now. Thanks. Yes, Ms. Sunshine. And Ms. Sunshine, again, give me another yes. We will not contact you. The only way we'll contact you, Ms. Sunshine, if you like what you see, scroll down, you get a free coach. Also, if you didn't hear me before when I was talking about it, 70% of what you'd spend on the food for the month comes from these researchers around the world. They give you a 100% money-back guarantee in the first 30 days. You don't have to have a reason. Now, nothing's 100%, but I swear to you, this is probably, it's so rare when out of 1,000 people, maybe 2 people ever ask for a discount, a return. But you get it. You have no risk. Your risk is you don't do it, you go on a diet and you're going to gain all your weight back. 2/3 you're going to weigh more than when you started. Now, let's take a look at some of the medical evidence why the diet you're on now is doomed to failure. None of what I'm going to share with you next is an opinion. They're all coming from medical studies. The first one, why you shouldn't count calories. Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. This is not me speaking. This is the medical researchers. While our research has found that while counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. And what's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. They went on to say, counting calories increases chronic psychological stress and cortisol production, two factors that are known to cause weight gain. 2/3 of you are going to gain more weight than you lost. Why would you continue on the diet you're on when you can go to this and lose weight instead of, I mean, these people are keeping their weight on for 8, 9, 10, 12 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Now, I think this one is really damning. This is Medicare, a new study. Medicare. Title of the study, Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. This is Medicare saying that. Here's what they said. Our researchers at Medicare reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting, any diet, is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. This is Medicare telling you what they're basically, abandon whatever diet you're on right now. You should be running to this. This is the solution, and it's backed by, my gosh, there's 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies saying it's safe and it's real. Nobody else has one study. You're nice people. You're believing opinions with no facts. Look around America. Go to the beach. Look at America today, for crying out loud. Look at what's happening to us. Why? Because diets don't work. This is not a diet, it's a detox. They proved, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving this was helping the body get chemicals out of us. The reason she's got the bloating there on day one is the body's storing through breathing, drinking, eating, we're getting chemicals. Did you all see the thing from 5 weeks ago? You're storing microplastics in your brain and in your coronary arteries? Really? But what else is in there? Herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon inside your fat cells. That's why you have all the fat on your body. That's what you tell us. It's not just how much weight I have, even if it's 20 pounds, it seals you around your middle, and it's really, you don't want that pouch. Look at her. That's with no exercise. Hello, everybody. No, look at the change. Why? The secret to this, the first slide, the weight loss secret, it's a detox. It's not a diet. And it's sustainable. Maintenance is the key to this. Those two women, the daughter, 57, lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, 80, lost 90 pounds in 9 months. And they both kept it off for 3 years. The main thing to do is to be able to maintain it. And how simple is maintenance? Your meal every morning, these exotic foods around the world, 2 normal meals, and then every couple months do another 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast. Does that make sense to everybody? Oh, Miss Sunshine, where's the website again? Yes, I see it now. Thanks. Okay. So, Marion, you see the website? Parker, Hugh, you see the website? Yvonne, do you see the website right there above their head in blue, the new health conversation? I guess I'm perplexed. Why wouldn't every person on this podcast go to that website? Why wouldn't you do that? Do you think I'm lying? You can't make up peer-reviewed human trial studies. There's no editing. The researchers, once they submit their work to the journals, they turn over all editorial. They have no editing capabilities. The journals, and the journals don't analyze it. They send it out to other world-class experts whose job is to analyze and disprove what the researchers, seriously, that's their job. That's why no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. You hear the term clinical trial, you hear the term scientific paper, that doesn't matter. It's got to be on human beings, and then it has to be peer-reviewed and approved from a peer-reviewed process. The journals can't take the chance that they're doing the analysis, because then you'd say they're prejudiced, of course, because they're getting paid. The journals are to do the research. And the fund, you always hear this about, well, who funded the studies? Well, you've got to understand that once the fund, it doesn't matter where the funding comes. It can be philanthropic, it can be personal, it can be from the government. It doesn't matter. Once you agree to fund a study, you give up all rights. So you have no control over what the outcome is going to be. That's why these companies won't do this. Well, there aren't really companies. But when you talk about keto, paleo, Mediterranean, why aren't they getting studies going? because they'd be scrutinized and they'd realize the claims they're making are unsubstantiated, meaning they're not proven, they're just speculation. Do you want to, are you going to trust your health to speculation, or do you want to submit it to the highest level of medical scrutiny that there is? It doesn't mean they don't make mistakes sometimes. Of course, we know drugs, sometimes they make bad calls. But gosh, for the most part, I'm not against drugs. But if you can limit the amount you need, like a diabetic or a high blood pressure medication, obviously, if you lose weight, you're going to reduce the amount of medication that you need. It's a given. Ask your doctor. They'll tell you. How many of you are being told when you go to the doctor, if you lose some weight, we probably, if you're pre-diabetic, for example, which of the 80% of people that are overweight, 50% are pre-diabetic. Right now in this country, right now, 80% of Americans overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. And the pre-diabetics, of course, would probably be mostly in the obese category. And I don't know what else to do for all of you except to say, look, you have a chance to completely change the trajectory of the rest of your life. It starts with you going to that website. You just go to Google. This is how you can change your life. Type in the new, notice it's the new health conversation. It's right there in front of all of you. See it? Conversation. It comes up in Google. You click on it. There's the website. There's nothing to buy there. We're not going to if you go to that website, we're not going to contact you. Number one is a exclusive podcast with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He'll explain to you why they will never recommend any form of traditional diet again. After 40 years, 100 studies, they realized no diet ever worked long term. None. Zero. None. This does. They invented it, and they've proved that it's real. I mean, again, I ask all of you, does anyone even know what the definition of a calorie is? Because this has nothing to do with calorie counting. Guess who else doesn't care about calories? Your body. Your body has no idea what a calorie even is. Now, let me read you the technical definition of why counting calories can't possibly work. This is from the researchers, right? Not from me. Nothing I'm sharing with you is my opinion. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is it ignores that the body adjusts its control system when calorie intake is reduced. So while the formula calories in, calories out can support people achieving weight loss initially, the reduction in energy intake ensures the lost weight will be regained and more. Now, first of all, they're talking about calories, which actually that's not correct. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. What they're really talking about is what you're doing. You're reducing the amount of food you're consuming. Okay, well, obviously that would reduce calories, but that's not the most important thing. What are you really reducing? Nutrition. It is the nutrition that runs your body, not calories. It is the nutrition that gives you energy, lowers your stress level, allows you to sleep better at night, lowers it. The nutrition is what heals us, is what keeps us safe, what keeps us healthy. We're deteriorating as a society. We spend 4 times what the industrialized world spends on I call it sick care. We're the most overfed and undernourished society in the world. Let me give you another statistic. The Lancet, the largest medical journal in the world, conducted a study in 2024 March, so a little over a year ago. They now estimate 1 billion people worldwide are clinically obese, not just overweight. And they went on to say, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition in the world. What you're suffering from is malnutrition. What you're suffering from going on these diets is malnutrition. And when your brain senses not enough nutrition, it stops all access to fuel from your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel. And by losing lean muscle, you slow down your metabolism. That's why you plateau in these diets. That's why you come off and gain everything back. Is anybody telling you this? Is anybody sharing this medical proof that I'm sharing with all of you now? And you can go and see the outcomes at the New Health Conversation, and we won't even contact you. Why wouldn't you go there? Why wouldn't you go there? So I grew up in the times where there wasn't so much fast food and junk food. Tricks is eat right. And Lisa, I grew up in the times when there wasn't so much fast food and junk foods. Trick is, no, actually, Lisa, that's not the trick. The researchers tried that. They did 40 years of studies on organic food. There's never been a diet until now, and this is not a diet, Lisa, not with all due respect. that's ever been proven to keep weight off long term. As a matter of fact, Lisa, 2/3 of people on all these diets gain more weight than they lost. That's a huge misconception. Our organic food, even in this country, is all but nutritionally bankrupt. Let me give you one example, Lisa. Spinach, which I think we'd agree is a really great food, right? Well, Cornell University, not me, did a study on the iron levels in spinach, Lisa, from 1953 until 2020. They estimate the iron levels, the amount of iron in spinach, decreased by 4,300% in that time frame. An apple from 30 years ago. Today, they say to get the same nutrition, you need 6 to 8 apples. You need about an orange. You need about 6 oranges. So we're having to consume more and more food because there's less and less nutrition. Because the only thing, Lisa, your body cares about is nutrition. And if you think you're going to do whole foods, you're going to do organic, and that's the answer, that's good, but it's nowhere near enough. That's why, Lisa, these researchers went. They didn't, but other researchers have gone to places around the world for 20 years in Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, and they found foods with huge amounts of nutrition that don't exist in North America. So you may think you're eating healthy, but you're still really limited. You're really limited in your possibility. Now, if you want to settle for where you are now, okay, that's good. But what about maximizing your quality of life? What about maximizing your energy, sleeping better, lowering stress, more mental focus, just a zest for life? See, this is a quality of life system. It's not supplements. It's not food. It's a combination, not just of the food you'd be eating, but how, well, actually new ways of consuming food that's patented. It's patented, this new way of eating. Nobody, what you're doing is unpatented. And again, this is the misconception that we've all been led to believe. Yes, of course, fast food is not good, etc. But if you think you're going to go and you're going to eat organic food and you're going to defeat this, you're wrong. Because even 200 studies, Lisa, 200 studies where they took organic food compared to regular food, the organic was 10 to 15% better, but not 100%. These foods around the world were probably 1,000% better. They had huge amounts of nutrition. And some of it came from the blue zones, if you're familiar with those, where people are living to be 100 years old. I want those nutrients in me. And that's what these researchers did for all of you. They proved it. They proved that all these diets, whatever you're talking about doing, don't work long term. They don't make you healthy. And even if you're thin, Lisa, the problem is we're all storing chemicals in our bodies, inside our fat cells. Whether it shows up on the outside doesn't matter. It's showing up on the inside. This research, what they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving that this was removing chemicals from the body. You can see it all at the website for free, and we won't even contact any of you. Right there in blue, the new health conversation. Why wouldn't you go there? Thanks for your comment very much, Lisa. I appreciate it. Does anybody else want to? Yvonne, do you know you can go to that website now? And we're stuck at 2,200 likes. Come on, let's get some taps on the screen. If you like the content. If you don't like the content, don't tap on the screen. It's really that simple. So who else would like to ask me a question or comment? I mean, look at April, everybody, my friend's daughter, 60 pounds in 3 months. 60 pounds in 3 months. Now, you may think it's a different woman. It's not. It's the same person. And that photo's about 8 years old. She's kept the weight off now for 8 years. The main reason to do this, well, the biggest reason is detoxification. But the other reason is maintenance, that you're going to be able to maintain that weight loss for the rest of your life. I lost 40 pounds at 7 weeks, 23 years ago. Does that sound interesting to all of you? So who else would like to ask me a question or make a comment? And we're still stuck at 2,200 likes. Can we get some of you that are still on here? Can you tap on that screen and let's get some more likes going? If you like the content, if you don't like the content, then I would say go on whatever diet you think you're on. But 2/3 of you, wait, you hear me say this, 2/3 you're going to end up gaining more weight than whatever you lost. If you lost 20, you're going to probably gain back 25. If you lost 25, you're going to probably gain back 30 or 40 or 50 pounds. You're setting yourself up for failure by going on any diet by counting calories. And again, after all this time, I still don't have anybody giving me the medical definition of a calorie. Why are you counting calories when you don't even know what they are? That's my question to all of you. Would anybody else like to ask me a question or put it in the chat? This is for all of you, for crying out loud. We're giving you free access to the medical proof. We won't even contact you if you go to that website. Why wouldn't you all go there? Lisa 14, Joe, hello, all of you. Again, can we get some taps on that screen? Unless everybody's died off and they're gone. I don't know. Maybe no one's still on the podcast. Yes, that's my TikTok handle, but that is not the website to go to. Nadia too. Oh, now we're getting some taps. Thank you very much. Where you want to go is right, see it right above her head there, Nadia, the new health conversation. You want to you type it in Google. Look, here's what you do. You go to Google, type in the new health, typical search, conversation, but it's got to be the new health conversation. There, click on that. It takes you right to the website. There's nothing to buy, only the medical proof, including #1 module, exclusive podcast with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He and his team invented this. They had done 40 years of study, 100 studies, thousands of people, and determined that diets just don't work. They invented this. They don't have any products. They don't have a company. They don't sell you anything. This is not a product. This is a completely new way of living our lives. Even to the point where they got a patent on a new way of consuming food, a new way of eating, believe it or not. Patented. U.S. Patent Office, patented. You know what a big deal that is? Can you name any other diet that has a patent on how you eat? This is scientifically based. This is the real thing. And how many of you would be excited about losing? This is the least they lose. Typically 5 pounds. Oh, we're getting some taps now. We're at 2,500. So, Aman, do you understand what you can do by going to that website? Give me a yes that you can see it and read it, and you understand that's where you can go to see the real medical proof. So the new health conversation, that is my TikTok site. If anybody wants to go there and like my site, that's great. But in the meantime, the real information is right there above her head in blue, the new health conversation. And then you get a free coach. The coaching's free the whole time. There's no gimmicks, no tricks. It's not like they do the initial oh, and then if you want to coach, it's $500 a month. No, the coaching's 100% free. There's no way we charge for coaching. It's all free. And you're buying food. There's no supplements to buy. There's no product. 30% of the food you're going to buy from your grocery store. A list of foods from these researchers who created this have nothing. They don't want you to have calorie counts. They give you serving sizes, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. Serving size is critical, but only 30% of the food you're going to consume comes from your grocery store. The other 70%, here's what makes it work, came from other researchers who've gone around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, finding foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but smaller amounts of food by quantity. So now they had the foods. I'm explaining to you what she did. Then 5 days a week, they let her have 4 meals a day. Yes, you heard me, 4 meals a day. Starting with these exotic foods around the world, that was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner. That's what they got the patent on. It's called protein pacing. So it wasn't just what she was eating, it was when she was eating, what the timing was, and we teach you all of that. But imagine a patent on a new way of eating. This is crazy good. So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day called protein pacing. Then 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent, listen to me carefully, nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating, nothing to do with that. On those days, no food from the grocery store. The only food she got was from these exotic foods from around the world, but this time she ate 8 times a day. She was eating literally every hour and a half. Again, the pacing mattered when she was eating. It had nothing to do with the quantity of amount of food on her plate. It had to do with the amount of nutrition, and there's no supplements involved here, by the way. And there's the result. 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days. And when they measured water, she lost no water weight, so the 21 pounds was not water. And also, with no exercise, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. Look at her stomach. Look at her stomach on day 1. Look at her stomach on day 30. That's with no exercise allowed. They actually wear Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Now, the researchers aren't against exercise, but for purposes of this, they didn't want exercise to be an outlier, if that makes sense to all of you. So what I would encourage all of you to do, if you want to, go to that website, the New Health Conversation, and see the medical proof, because it's right there. It's for you to see. And if you like what you see, scroll down, you get a free coach. Oh, by the way, the 70% of the food you're buying from those suppliers, listen to me, everyone, you get 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days from those suppliers if it doesn't work. Because, nothing's 100%. But is any diet offering you 100% of your money back? Now, to be clear, 30% you're still going to spend at your grocery store, and I don't think they're going to give you your money back. Basically, what you're doing here is buying a month's worth of food. That's what you're doing. But only 30% from your grocery store and 70% from these exotic foods around the world. And then you're going to learn protein pacing, this patented new way of eating. Doesn't that excite you? Are you not excited about this? Why not? Are you going to go back to these miserable diets, counting calories, being miserable, starving, no energy? You're miserable. You can't wait till it's over. These people were not hungry. Nobody was hungry on this because it was never based on calorie counting. Only thing your body knows to measure is nutrition. Is that a hard concept to understand? So when you're hungry, do you think your body's going to give me more calories? Is that what you really think? Well, first of all, no one's even been able to give me the definition of a calorie. What's a calorie that you're all counting? You're probably mad at me when I say that. I'm not mocking you. I didn't know what a calorie was 24 years ago when I first started as a researcher. I mean, you're in a position where you could change the rest of your lives or not. Or you can hang on to this worn out dogma that somehow calories in, calories out, calorie deficit is the way to lose weight. It's so ridiculous. If your body doesn't even know what a calorie is, why would you care about calories? Why aren't they telling you that the only thing you should worry about is the amount of nutrition? And when you drop below a certain amount of nutrition on these diets, that's what you do. You reduce food. What else? Reducing nutrition. It triggers starvation in the brain. The brain then shuts down all access to the fuel in your fat cell and turns to your muscles for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you gain all your weight back. It's that simple. It's not complicated. That's what's happening to all of you. You're setting yourself up for failure. 2/3 of you are going to weigh more than when you started, and that's not my opinion. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. The Medicare researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The researchers found that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there is little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. What in the world are you doing? According to Medicare, you're wasting your time until now, until this new approach came about. So again, we're at 2,800. Come on, let's get a few more. Let's get up to 3,000. So I'll stay on. I'm already at an hour, almost an hour and 20 minutes. Just to let you know, I'll probably do another one today. Let's see. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. So I'll probably do another one around, let's say 3 o'clock Eastern time today. I've got back-to-back calls now for the next few hours. But I'll do another live podcast around, like I said, about 3 o'clock today, Eastern Standard Time, if any of you want to come back or refer one of your friends. But anybody can go to that website at any time. They don't have to be on my podcast to go to the website and see the medical proof. So one last time, what you all can do, go to Google, type in the new health conversation. It's a conversation. The website, you'll see, look, it comes up. Click on the new health conversation. There's the proof. There's nothing to buy there. Number one is an interview with the number one podcast with the number one nutritional researcher in the world who invented this. And he says they'll never recommend a traditional diet to anybody again. That's the leading authority in the world. Do you want to listen to him or do you want to listen to these influencers? They're nice people. Some of them are medical doctors, some of them are chiropractors, some are dietitians, nutritionists, fitness people, weight loss coaches, health coaches. But I would just challenge you, do any of them have one shred of medical evidence? One shred. And yet you're following them. Why? You're entrusting your health to opinions. Again, can we get some more taps on that screen to get to 3,000? If you like the content, if you don't tap on the screen. Just takes a bunch of taps to get us to 3,000. Let me see some hearts coming up there if you like the content. I'm doing these podcasts for all of you. My own mother died of obesity. My mom dieted herself to death. She did about every diet that there was. I really miss her. My mom was like 63 years old when she died. I loved her. I lived through fat shaming. I saw all of that. I want to do my part to prevent, if I can prevent one of you from ever having to, um, end up with the fate that my mom did, then I think I've really done a great job for all of you. Can we get, okay, Yamandi, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your name. I apologize. But again, can we get some more taps to get to 3,000? Or is everybody, they're gone to work, they've checked out, whatever. Although this is going all over the world. So like in England now, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I know there's people in Europe watching because we get people in Paris and Spain and Finland and all over the world. They're watching these podcasts. So I'll wait a few more moments. No more likes. Okay, that's fine. I appreciate the 2,800 likes we did get. But tell your friends about this. And like I said, I'll probably come back on again today around 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, if that's okay with everybody. So I'm gonna end this podcast now. I wish all of you great luck. And please, as I said, I would encourage you, go to the website. It's free. We won't contact you. The New Health Conversation. Okay, everybody? Have a great rest of your day, everyone, or night or afternoon or tomorrow, wherever you